Hi, so I'm not a Buddhist monk, even though I might look like it. In this video, I'm gonna show you my current productivity system. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I want to share my productivity system, and I got no one to share it to because no one understands me. So this is a desperate cry for help, plea to the world. Please listen to what I'm about to say. Anyway, so just to be clear, I'm not like that productive. I'm not like a PhD student in Cambridge or, a CEO with 20 employees and making like $10 million a year. I'm also not a Y Combinator backed startup founder, right? I'm not that productive, but I'm in my final year as a mechanical engineering student. The reason why I like this whole productivity stuff is because we're finite human beings, like we're gonna die one day, and it feels like I don't waste my time, even though I'm still wasting my time, but I don't feel like I'm wasting my time when I'm doing this. That's the primary reason why I have this productivity system. And also, I've always liked to like organize myself. Like I'm one of those people who, if you look at my computer, a lot of the folders are very neatly organized. So I've always liked being organized, at least on this like intellectual part of my life. So the majority of my productivity systems is paper-based because I don't like using software that I have to pay for, nor software that isn't exactly private. Like I don't own my data. A lot of people use Notion or Todoist and all these apps, but I don't use them. The only apps that I use is like major app that I use is Obsidian, because even though they're not open source, they're audited frequently for securities, have a really great community. It's very lightweight, it's very community based, and I own the data, all of it. So if they were to go bankrupt tomorrow, I have all of my data. Yeah, let's just start with the physical part. So the most important one would be the daily planner. It looks like this. I made it myself. This is an example of an empty page that I was supposed to write today, but I didn't do it because, I'm lazy. I'm not a perfect human being. I can show you the days where I'm actually productive, where I actually do something and I feel like I don't waste my day before I go to sleep. So this is, for example, on Saturday of last week. This is what it looks like. I don't know how I'm gonna hold this mic. The top part here, this dot, this is the amount of how many deep work that I do in a single day. If you don't know deep work, it's from Cal Newport. He's a professor of computer science at Georgetown University, and his books are complete banger. Every single one of his books are really good. It's a really good book. So deep work is when you work on anything that is cognitively demanding, that you cannot easily train someone for, and you're not distracted while doing it. So anything counts deep work for that. And the more deep work you do, the more meaningful things that you can create, if that makes any sense. The more deep work, I just realized that the background of this video is really bad. I have to, yeah, so that was deep work. And last week I did, what date was this? Saturday, I did 4 hours of deep work. That's awesome. And then in here is his time block system. This is also from Cal Newport. I actually copied this from his time block planner. He sell a time block planner, and I make my own because I feel like I could make a better design that is suited for me. The bottom here has the time when I wake up and when I go to sleep. So I have found that it doesn't really matter when you wake, whether you're like one of those morning person or night owl. What matters is that you wake up and sleep at the exact same time, roughly speaking, every single day, and you get enough amount of sleep, and that when you're awake you actually do something that contributes to the goals that you have in life. So it doesn't really matter if you wake up at 10 a.m. I believe Mark Manson, the author of Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, he said in one of his videos, he said that he used to wake up at 10 a.m. every single day when he was writing that book, when he was still a digital nomad and traveling the world. But the key thing is that when he wake up until like 2 p.m., he would just write for like 4 hours, and then he would continue his day. So if you just do that, you would be successful. So it matters how much action in the hundreds, in the repetitions that you do towards your goals. Anyway, so these are the time. I put the hour on this part here, and then every block, every line, every row rather, is 30 minutes. So you can plan your day, and this is way more efficient because one, you get to see whether you're actually wasting your time or not. So even if you're not actually doing anything with your life, you're gonna realize sooner or later, within a week, you know what, I probably shouldn't spend that much time on YouTube or dinner while watching TikTok like for like 2 hours, and then I realized, oh my god, it's 8:30. So that makes you accountable. And then this part here is obviously, this one is the date, obviously, and then here's the week number, ISO 8601. It's a standard way of counting week, and I use this so that I know the week of the year. It's week 46 with this one. And then this part here is the daily highlights. This is the concept from the book, Make Time. But it's technically just like, what is one thing that you do, or a couple of things, depending on how you want. But it's definitely not 10 things, right? Maybe 1 or 3 or 2 or 4, maybe, of things that you do that you want to get done on that day so that you remember that you want to do it. So I just put it here. And yeah, so it's just some skull design that I designed on Photoshop. And that's the front page, that's the time block page. And the second page is the notes page. It's a dot grid, so you can I can write anything I want. But what I usually write is 2 columns. Actually, I can show you. Yeah, this one has the 2 column division. The first one here is the distraction log. I got this from some YouTuber, YouTube video. Basically, that whenever you're working, because the goal of deep work is to not be distracted, right? So whenever there's an urge to grab my phone, even though my phone is already outside, whenever I want to grab my phone, or I want to like do anything else that is not work, I would just write it down here. I would be like consciously, oh wait, I shouldn't do that, and that's why I call it distraction log. And then the next column here is tasks, thoughts, or notes. So anytime I remember, oh wait, I haven't done that, I haven't checked up on that on a project or something, or some thoughts like plan for dinner or that kind of thing, I would just like write it down here. The next one I have is a sleep journal tracker. I got this from a book called The Sleep Prescription, I believe, and I just printed, right? This is the empty part. So this is just, I mean, you probably can't see it because this phone camera is really bad, but basically, when you wake up, you would write the time that you go to sleep, how long do you take to go to sleep, whether you were awakened a couple times when you were in your sleep, and the sleep quality, and then how efficient was your sleep. The only thing why I'm doing this here, which I'm probably going to stop in less than 6 months, is because up until like 2 weeks ago, I have really bad sleep, like throughout my life. The last thing that I could do, the least that I could do would be to just like wake up and sleep at the same time every single day. So that's what I do with this journal stuff. And once I, let's say, log in the habit of, like I try to wake up at 6 a.m. every single day, like that's all that matters to me. And so probably I won't do this every single day, but like in the future, in the long run. But for now, I'm doing this. And the next one is, this is a recent edition, probably less than a week old, where I track all of the habits that I want to track. This is the physical version. I have a digital version. There's an app called Loop Habit Tracker, I believe. It's a free and open source. You can find it on Android. Not Android, what's the word? F-Droid. And here's another app that I might show you later. So this is a, yeah, you can't see it. It's too small. Anyway, it's just a bunch of charts, and I write down how much of the action that I do for that, how much of the like incremental progress that I do for that habit for the entire day, and then it has 7 blocks, which means it's 7 days in a week. So I can see at a glance, even though there's the exact copy on my phone. I usually do it on my phone first, but writing it down also helps because I keep it at a arm length ish distance next to my monitor, so I can refer to it. Next one is heat map calendar. This is my deep work. I think I can show you this. Yeah, I can show you this. So this is hang on, let me. So this is the heat map calendar for 2025, and what it does is that whenever I deem a day I was actually productive, when I consider productive, I would mark it on the calendar, and the bottom there lists the amount of deep work hours that I do on that particular month. And so if you really follow the deep work philosophy, technically you could do somewhere around at least 100 hours a month. But as you can see, if you could see it, the most that I've done is 60 and a half on August of this year. So yeah, it's kind of hard to do deep work, but this keeps me accountable. And I don't update it every single day, maybe every couple of weeks, honestly, because yeah, it takes effort to make the box really pretty. And then I have a just small notepad to write down like notes, and yeah, that's everything. That's all the planner, and all these they're like the majority. That's like 80% of what I'm doing. the rest, the remaining 20% is on Obsidian. Let's move on to Obsidian. So this is my book database. This has all of my books that I've ever read, even if I don't finish it. I just actually finished making this. I used to use Excel, spreadsheet, Google Sheets, and I used to use Notion for a very long time before I switched to Obsidian. And I had the data, but I've never, I left Notion like more than a year ago, but I stored the data as spreadsheet, so I've only moved this like a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe less, I forgot. And these are all of my books that I've read, and so this really helps keep track of it. And I can, like, this is one of the books I just finished, and if you look at it, this is the property section on Obsidian, and it has the date start, date end, so that's really convenient. And then of course it has the cover, so it looks pretty good here. This is the most important part on Obsidian for me. This whole thing, this is possible because of community plugin. The community plugin is called Notebook Navigator. This enabled me to do this. This looks like the interface in Evernote, by the way, if you don't know. And I don't use folders on my Obsidian to classify files, so I use the Tiago Forte's Para method, which is very easy. It's just projects, areas, resource, and archive. The most important thing that you need to know is just projects. Literally, that's the most important thing. And everything that needs it, and it's based on how, from the most actionable to the least actionable. So the most actionable stuff gets into the projects folder, and the least actionable goes into the archive. And so projects are anything that has a deadline, and then resources are anything that is a part of your interest. And then area is a project that has no deadline. So cooking, right? Health, for example. You don't win at health, you keep doing it. The goal is to keep playing. And so health would be one of the areas. And then archive is anything that is not that. Is the task page. And the reason why this task page is really important is because this shows what I have to do in the entire week. This weekly plan, I made this last week on Saturday or Sunday, I forgot. And I just moved it here. So whenever I want to work, I just look at this weekly plan, and from that weekly plan task, I transfer it to the time block planner. Yeah, that's literally it. Yeah, I write it down. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to show you. There's this timer. This is a kitchen timer, actually. And I got inspired to buy this because of Alex Hormozy. He kept saying that this is a life hack. So what you do is that you set up a timer. Let's say you want to work for like 35 minutes, and then you just click it, and then you see the timer, and it makes you inspired to do that. And it does boost productivity, I'm not gonna lie. And it's very useful because I can use this to time this, not only do countdown, but I also do stopwatch. So I can use this to time the rest between sessions while exercising, or you could also use this for cooking, obviously. And then yeah, it's very useful. But it only goes to 99 minutes. Anyway, the way I do it is, like I mentioned, there's a weekly plan, and then there's the weekly checklist. I could show you this. Yeah, that's fine. This is the daily checklist, and there's a weekly checklist. This is what I try to do. And then there's the waiting and schedule. This is when I'm waiting for a task because I delegate it to someone else, or if I have a schedule for that specific, certain dates. Back burner is anything that I was like, you know what, I should probably do. Like, for example, like I mentioned earlier, the notes page on the time block page could be certain tasks or thoughts, and then I could transfer that to the back burner if, at the end of the day, I deem that necessary to remember it, but I don't have the time to do it now. Like, for example, I need to buy something, or I don't want to do it today because I'm lazy, so I just put it on the back burner. So that's the task page. That's really important. The next most important page would be the multi-scale planning, which I can't show you. But multi-scale planning is also another concept from Colin Newport. Basically, you can't really plan your life like 5 years ahead. That's really hard to do. But you could technically, for a lot of people, can definitely predict what's going to happen in the next quarter. So 3 months. And if it's too hard, then at least for the whole month, I'm pretty sure you could understand what's going to happen here and here. And then you just put that on the multi-scale planning. I usually plan by week. And as you can see, the week planning, I do it at the end of the previous week. And so multi-scale planning helps planning anything that's above 1 week. And so I could see at a glance like what I have to do. And then accountability report is basically just at the end of the week, because as you can see, this is the list that I have to do. I'm recording this on Friday morning, so yeah, so that's the plan. So if this week is done, I can just transfer this to the accountability report and like write, or I usually use AI and be like, summarize what I did in the entire week. Just plain writing language, nothing fancy. And so I have a record. If I click accountability report right now, it shows every single month since January, and it shows how many hours of work that I did on that week, and I can see at a glance everything that I did on that week, on that particular week of that particular month. And all of this takes like less than 5 minutes. So again, the most important part is 5 minutes. All of this, when I'm showing you all of my system, it takes 5 minutes to start. I'm not like elaborate planning and all these things. If I want to get to work on the days where I actually get to work, again, I'm not that productive. I'm not a productive expert or guru. On the days that I have to get productive, really helpful because it makes it very crystal clear what I have to do every single day. And yeah, it reminds me of the tasks I have in the near term. And the most important part also, it also aligns with the goals that I have in life. So yeah, that's everything that I do. And yeah, I mostly use text to navigate. So the main apps that I go to is just Obsidian, that Habits app on my phone, and then everything else is just physical. So it's really, really useful to like have everything at a glance. It's very easy, nothing complicated.